Okay, and you can use this on your test. So if we look at this very first one, determine the domain and range. Which one is the domain? The x's or the y's?
The X.
Domain is the x's. Okay, so domain is going to be the x's, and the range then is going to be the y's. And there's one little rule with these. What is it? Remember? Okay, you're not allowed to repeat, so there's no repeating. Okay, so the domain is going to be -6, -3. Again, there's a -3, so we cannot write that down again. That's what we're talking about, no repeating. 0 and 6. The range is going to be 0, -5, 6, 4, and 5. Okay, number 3, determine the domain and range. It goes like this. It goes x, comma, y. So this is the domain, comma, the range. Okay, so the domain is going to be -4, -3, -2, -1, and 1. Okay, so all the first pieces of every coordinate. Okay, the range then is what? What's the very first range? -1. Okay, the range is going to be -1, 2. 2 is already on our list, so we don't need to write that down. -1 is already on the list, so we don't need to write that down. And then we have a -6. Does anybody sit in that back row?
No.
Oh, that's fine. Number 5, the domain. Okay, again, covers all the x's, so it's gonna be all of the ones that go up and down, and the range is gonna be all the left and right. Okay, so I can, if I'm looking up and down in rows, I can see that this one is on 7. What's another one? 5. What's another one? Huh?
6.
6 is 1. What else? -2 and -3. Okay, so the domain does all of the up and down dots. Okay, so the range does all the exact same dots, but we're gonna look sideways to this middle Y line. Okay, so we got 4. What else?
-5.
4, -5, I agree. -6, and that's on there 2 times, so we only write it down 1 time, and there's one more.
-3.
-3. Number 7. Number 7, that is a mapping, okay? And so it wants you to do, what, the domain and range, or is it a function? The domain and range, okay? And so these ones are probably the easiest to tell, because they're already, like, broke down for you. Okay, what's it mean when it has 2 arrows, though?
There's
It's twice, but how many times did we write it down? Only once, so. My domain is gonna be -7, -5, 0, and 5. The range is gonna be -7, -2, -1, 5, and 7. Okay, number 9 and 10, we're gonna skip because they're blank, because I didn't like draw the picture or write down the example. So, skip it. Go to number 11. It says each table represents a relation, determine whether it's a function or not. Okay, so, does anybody remember what is the rule? What's not allowed to repeat, the x's or the y's? Okay, and if you're not sure, draw a picture. Okay, so if we have something like this, we got 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, if we're looking at a graphing system, if this coordinate is 1, 1, and I have, what makes it not be a function? When two dots are on top of each other or sideways? Remember we did that vertical line test? Okay, so if you have two dots that are on top of each other, then it makes it not be a function. And so that coordinate is 1, 2. Okay, if we had another one, it would be 1, 3. Okay, so the x's are not allowed to repeat. If you have any repeating x values, then it's not a function. Okay, so we cannot have a repeating x value. You can have a repeating y value, because I can have 2, 3 also marked. Okay, 2, 3. We can have repeating y values, but we cannot have repeating x values. So if we look at 11, is that a function? Yes, it is. Oops. Okay, so if you didn't remember, and you're like, it's been a minute, okay, then you might need a note on there, okay? And I would say no repeating x's means not a function or something, okay? So if we look at 13, okay, does that appear to be a function? No, why not? Okay, so the number 1, be more specific. The one on the x or the domain. Why did I say be more specific?
Because
There's a one on the y, okay? So the one on the x has 2 arrows coming off of it. So that means it's gonna have 2 x values. So this is gonna be no, it's not a function. Okay, 15, again, we're looking to see whether it's a function or not. We do the vertical line test. Okay, so if you were to draw a vertical line going on each line, okay, does it repeat more than once on the same line? So then is this a function? No. Okay, and by that I mean on this line here, this middle one, see how it touches here and here on that same red line? That's a no-no. Okay, that's not allowed. Okay. Some examples of not functions are going to be closed shapes, sideways shapes. Okay, so really we just want regular old graph. Okay, 17, evaluate each function for the given value. Everywhere there's an x, what should we be plugging in? Everywhere there's an x, where should we plug it in? A 4. Okay, so this is saying everywhere there's an x, put a 4. So right here should be a 4, right here, in parentheses, okay? So maybe draw yourself some parentheses there. You have to use parentheses, okay? So it's going to look like f of 4 equals negative, well I have an x, so we're going to put parentheses 4 squared plus 8, I have another x, so we're going to say parentheses 4 minus 12. Okay, on the calculator, you're only putting this part. Okay, on the calculator, we're only putting that part. So type all that in, see what you got. 4. Somebody else type it in. What'd you guys get? You got 4? 4?
I got 14.
Okay. So my answer is not just 4, like that. Okay, if you write me just 4, I'm marking it off. Okay, we talked about if we make $10 an hour. Okay, so if you work 100 hours, your job is just allowed to give you $10? Would that be fair to you? No. Okay, so it's based upon what amount of hours you work. Okay, they're saying they worked 4 hours and they got $4. Okay, it's not money, but okay, essentially that's what's happening. So we have to say f of 4 equals 4. Because if I would change this to 5, then I'm going to get a different value. If I would change every x that I plug into a 10, so for this part, we got a 4. Okay, this part we just copied down and put here. Okay, 19 says sketch the graph of the line. Which part do we graph first, the 5 or the 1/3? The 5. Okay, we graph the 5 first. Okay, so if you need to draw yourself a note, we graph this first. Okay, so we're going to go to where the y line and where x is -5. And what is my slope? 1/3. Okay, is it a positive or a negative line? Positive. So are we looking for option 1 or option 2? I need a positive line. Option 1. So I want my graph to be going, we're going to go up 1 and over 3, which way? To the right. Okay, and again, if you kind of need option 1 and option 2 on your paper, then draw yourself a little picture, okay? And if we remember, you go rise or run, etc. Okay? 21, it says find the intercepts of the graph. What is the x-intercept? 3. How do you know it's 3? Yeah, okay, so it's wherever it crosses the y line. Did I pass it? Is it on the bottom of this one? Yeah, so we can see the x-intercept is at 3. It's wherever it crosses the x line. What is the y-intercept?
-4.
-4. It's wherever it crosses the y line. Okay, 23. Find all the intercepts. Okay, and if you don't remember, okay, again, draw yourself a picture. So 0, we're only looking for really for the zeros. We got 0, 6, and 6, 0. And that's it. So we know an x is going to be 6 and a y is going to be 6. But if you're not sure, okay, 0, 6 is going to be over 0 and up 6. So this is going to be the x one, 0, 6. The range would be 6, 0. Okay, so this would be the x-intercept, this is the y-intercept. So it's kind of like what you're looking for. Okay? Okay, 25. We're looking for zeros. So we got 0, -2. Is that going to be an x or a y?
What?
0, -2. So 0 means you go up or down? What's the first coordinate do? We go left and right, and then we go up and down. Okay, so 0 means we go left and right, none, and then 2. So is this on the x line or the y line? So that's a y-intercept. So 0, 2 is going to be a y-intercept. So you're going to say y equals -2. Okay, when the x is 0, okay, that's a y-intercept. When the y is 0, it's an x-intercept. Okay, so if we're looking at 27, okay, first of all, 0, 0, this one is going to be 1 for the x and 1 for the y. So 0, 0. Okay, and then we got 0, 2. Is that an x-intercept or a y? 0, -2, sorry. This one, 0, -2, is going to be a y-intercept. So it's also, and you can do, this probably is just what to do. Okay, so the y has 2 of them. (29) and 30, you can cross off. Okay, it says graph by table. We didn't even do that because it's in slope-intercept form, so you can absolutely just graph it. Okay, so if we were to just graph it, you graph it at the 2 and then go up 1 over 4. Okay, so it almost doesn't make sense to make a table and jot it, and we didn't do that anyway, so. Okay, find the slope. What is the slope formula? Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1 equals what? M. Okay, so we can go ahead and label. I got X1, Y1, X2, Y2. Okay, so it's going to look like -7 minus -8 over 10 minus 14. Okay, and we're going to type that in your calculator and see what you get. Sound just needs. What do you guys get? 1 over 94? 1 over -4. Somebody agree? Yes? No? I don't know what it is. You guys learned that the other day.
Yeah, -1 over.
-1 over 4. Okay. And then last one, find the value of x or y. Okay, again, we're gonna do the exact same thing. So I got x1, y1, x2, y2, and this is my m. And instead, we're missing one of the pieces, okay? So we're gonna say y2, which is -5, minus my y1, which is -1. Over x2, which is 3, minus my x1, which is x, equals my slope, -4 over 7. Okay, we're going to simplify and then cross multiply and divide. So can we simplify the top or the bottom? The top one, okay, because it's got all the numbers. So what is -5 minus -1? -5 minus -1. Huh? -4. Okay, so we're going to get -4 on the top. On the bottom, I'm going to have 3 minus, and I'm going to say 1x. Okay, and then from here, we're going to cross multiply and divide. So -4 times 7 is going to be -28. On this one, remember, we got to do for each piece, so it's really going to look like -4 parentheses 3 minus 1x. Okay, so it's going to be -12 plus 4x. Okay, and then who needs moved?
So,
The 12 needs moved, so we're gonna add 12 to both sides. Negative 28 plus 12,
negative 16.
negative 16 equals 4x, and then what? Divide by 4. So we're gonna get x equals negative 4. Okay, the rest of the sheet is for you guys to do. Go through and get your side done with by yourself, with your partner, etc.